everybody. Welcome back to the Meebits podcast. This is episode 13 and the first one that we're doing live on set. I'm really excited to be here today with somebody who's absolutely legendary, but I'm sure a lot of you haven't heard about him, but you've seen a lot of the result of what he's worked really hard over the last few years, promoting digital art, digital artists, NFTs, and all the good things that have come out of the NFT space. Mr. Benny Redbeard. Benny, welcome to the Meebits podcast.
Thank you for having me. This is, can we are we allowed to put like things up here, DJ? Like everyone?
You can put whatever.
So like I just want to put my Meebit here. It's a Meebit of my daughter.
Wish will do it.
After.
Wish will do it.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, so look at, this is my Meebit my favorite Meebit. I have a bunch, but this is the one of my daughter. So you can't see it. It has red hair and it's a girl. So, and I had to pick it out.
Nice.
Yeah, they see it. We can't see it. Just pretend you see it. It's like,
that's a beautiful movie. I've seen it. I've seen it before.
You've seen it. Okay. Yeah. So I do love Meebits, and I'm a big fan of Meebits. I'm a big fan of you. So I don't think I've ever been actually interviewed. I've been asked to be interviewed. I've turned it down a lot. So I said yes. Matt Hall said that I had to say yes because he said yes, which I think is bullshit, but I'm here.
He's the boss. He's back. He's
back.
He's back in the mix. So.
Maybe we shouldn't bring him back, you know? He's so pushy now.
But, no, it's awesome. It's awesome. Well, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
I know it took us a lot of invites to get you on the show.
Sorry.
I do have a track record of bringing people on podcasts for the first time, and then they just have really good runs after that.
Right,
so Batsub Yum, I did his first interview at Real Vision.
I remember that
and
one.
He just had a record-breaking 500,000 listener episode with Rao back on Real Vision.
Two of my closest friends. So
Ovi, also first one to get it talking about NFTs, also on Real Vision, ACK, and a lot of other folks. So I would like to say you're in good hands, but I don't know how to.
My only problem is that Bats had like a 500K episode, but he got really old very quickly after that.
But he was already old.
Nobody got older.
Okay, I haven't seen him since.
And I just spoke to him on the phone, and he told me I had to call him between 2 and 4 because that's the only times of the day he's actually awake. So I just don't want to age quicker.
Fine. I think that was just his own thing because he was pretty old to begin with.
Okay, got it. Yeah. No, but I love Bats. He's actually a very dear friend. Very dear friend.
He's
and
awesome.
Raul is as well. So
yeah, no, Bats finally bought a Meebit after giving me shit for 4 years.
I remember.
I was actually very surprised when I saw that. I was worried that he got hacked.
Yeah.
Because he was so out of place.
Oh, man. Imagine if Twitter got hacked. I have a Twitter that I made. It's called Bat Poop Yum instead. And every once in a while, I'll just like undertweet him, whatever you call it. Like Subtweet him. But yeah, he's not the only one. I think that there was a lot of people, honestly, if I'm going to be honest. The second you took over, when I heard, I was like super excited about that. I think we just don't do enough of these better creators in our space. So how do I say this nicer? I'm trying to think because I'm on a podcast. Sometimes people create things and they're great creators, and sometimes things get created and then they need better creators to take it over. And then I think what's really fascinating about our community is that sometimes you have these creators that are so passionate that they want to come back in and take things over. And I know for you, Meebits wasn't just about, as a collectible or, going up. It was like, fuck, I want to really grow this. And I think that there's something to say, like, some of the better projects now, like Meebits, Burbs, Penguins, like these are all taken over by people who like care. And, we just need more of that in the space, if I'm being honest.
No, I appreciate the support from the beginning.
Yeah. You deserve it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about you.
Oh, man.
We brought you here to talk about you.
Am I allowed to vape in here?
You would know if it's not going to set off any alarms.
Okay.
It's cool with me.
Go. Now you can talk about me.
You are actually, out of all the people that I know, one of the earliest people that was involved in digital art. And I actually personally never really met you until late in, I think, 21.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting to me because, being here in New York and it being such a small space, you feel like you meet everybody pretty quickly. And I felt like I did that.
Yeah.
But you were always behind the scenes. And it's
Yeah.
so much, now that I know you and that we become friends, it's so much your personality.
Yeah.
Yet you've done so much to promote not just the space, but artists, events,
Yeah.
and different things like that. So tell me, who's Benny Redbeard?
I mean, to be honest, I actually don't think I've done much.
I will disagree with that.
I know, but like it's
we'll
just
touch. Just your most recent thing. You were one of
Yeah,
the
but
big, I
know.
would say, participants, ideators,
Yeah.
elements that got the Node punk steel not
Yes.
just done, but it was
Yes.
you were there from the beginning of that.
Yeah,
moment of idea.
I felt that it was a really important thing for the community. The story really is that I was with Snowfro, Stone, and Matt in Miami, and I made a joke that I said, I'm gonna get Yuga to sell it to you back for $1. And we all laughed, and Matt's like, yeah, if you got punks back, I would come back. Because like Matt was like slowly coming back to the community, which I think is super important because him and John are like OGs and part of this like sort of cultural renaissance that we're doing. Like they can't not be involved. And he said to me, he's like, yeah, well, if you get it back, I'll do it. And I said, is that a promise? He said, yeah. So I said, okay, I'll do it. Everybody laughed. And then, I don't know, like really 2 weeks later, I already was calling whoever. And, I called Canvas and I was just like, we need to make this deal happen. He's like, yeah, I don't think they'll do it. And I was like, no, I think they would. And then it just happened. For me, it was really like, it was so important for it to work out the way it did because you guys did a great job at really, I would say, taking it from Matt and John, who needed to maybe take a break for a little bit because I think things got crazy. And they were good stewards for the time that they had it. But it was clear that it needed to be in the hands of something that would protect it long term. And I'm a firm believer that we need to start thinking about things less in weeks and months and years, but more like in 5, 10, 20 years. And where do we want to see punks? Like, while it's really nice to say, like, oh, let's get to $1 million floor, like, that's great. But, like, what is it going to be in 20 years and 50 years, Like, when my kids are taking my grandkids to a retrospective of digital art and punks are there, like, that's important to me. So being where it is now with, I think, somebody who's, Mickey and Becky, to me, are extremely important to this community as patrons. I think that people don't underestimate their love and their dedication, putting it into the node that they created so that it's safe forever, I think is one of the most important things that happened for us in a while. And I think that to the gracious, ways of Yuga, they understood that. They're like, yeah, we need to protect this. Gordon was like all in, like he's just a sweetheart of a person, and he got it. So, yeah, I mean, I get excited about those things. I care. I care. This is gonna be so uncomfortable. DJ, I hate you. No, it's okay. I'm just gonna call out your name every once in a while because it'll make me feel comfortable.
No, I want to double click on that because, in a space that is so driven by financial returns or lack thereof, but just such a money is such a motivator. I feel like you're one of the few people that I know, and you've made some great investments yourself in the past. A lot of that's given you the ability to maybe now have a bit more flexibility on your time frames, like you said, 10, 20 years and so on. But still, for example, for me, one of the things that stood out with the Punks deal was even when it got announced, like you didn't even want to be included in the tweets and the comments and the stories.
No.
And that's rare. That's really rare.
Yeah.
NFTs where like people, don't even do something. They just think about something, they tweet it, and then they want to take credit for it.
I just don't think it's about me. I did put like a tweet out for like a week where I was like, yeah, I closed this deal just because some people were like, oh, you need to tell people. And then I just erased it. It was like me sleeping in a car, basically. So I would, yeah, man, like, I just think we have such short times to be present in anything, right? It's like, what is the greater good of any of this? And if we're going to be self-service to our own needs, which is fine and important. I'm never saying people shouldn't. You should always look out for yourself. But like, I don't know, like I keep going back to this. Like, I think like we are literally at the point of a digital art renaissance, or really an art renaissance, I should say. And digital art will be that catalyst of it. And, you know, as a kid, you always play these like games, like, oh, if I had a time machine. I think you even do it as an adult. You know, it's like one of these innate things, like, where would I do? What would I do? Would I go back? How would I make money? Who would I meet? And, you know, like, you could have all these choices. But for me, like, not the top choice, because obviously I would go back to, like, you know, the dinosaur time. But my second choice.
Wait. You go back to dinosaurs?
Yeah, I would go back to dinosaurs.
To do what?
I mean, how many people could say they got eaten by a dinosaur?
To get eaten by a dinosaur?
Yeah.
Just saying. I mean, you're a weird guy.
Like, who's do you know anybody who's been eaten by a dinosaur?
No.
All the ways that you could die. You're telling me you're not 90 years old, and you're like, okay, I got a few more good years left. You're telling me someone doesn't come with a time machine, you're not going to want to get, like you can't go back in age, so you're going to stay 90. You're going to tell me that the one place you're not going to go is back to see dinosaurs?
And get murdered by one? No.
I mean, you're going to die anyways. What's the difference?
I have many other ways that I want to die. But that's not...
I'm going to come back to you at 90 and see that.
Oh.
What I was going to say was, what was I talking about? Time machines? Oh, I think that there's something... I'm really fascinated by Andy Warhol's factory and what it was like then. Like, this years of, like, I don't know, 66, 71. I don't really remember dates or names. But, like, what it was like for all these artists to go in and out of his studio to be building this crazy stuff. And most of them are just forgotten. They're gone to history. Right? You know, like, you don't really meet, you know, random artists and say, like, oh, I was in Andy Warhol's studio, like, for 4 years. But there was, like, incredible, like, just creativity and stuff being made. And then, like, you know, a whole movement of art was made out of that, right? In the 70s and 80s and 90s until now, basically. You know, pop art, contemporary art, whatever you want to call it. But, like, I think it's so fascinating of that time because I think that's exactly what we're going through now. Like, I think people fully don't understand yet what this stretch of art history is. You know, we've really only been, like, you know, you went to Toledo. You know, Adam Levine did an incredible job with Julie Kadinsky and Martina and Alan Howard and that whole team putting together this incredible sort of exhibit of digital art from, like, the 60s to now, you know? And it really is amazing to see the history of it, and I got a lot of appreciation. I knew some of it already, but even there. So, like, yes, digital art existed in the 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever. But, like, really what's happening now with this new microeconomies and on-chain and sort of, like, just technology's caught up to a lot of things, so we're able to share it more and sell it more and network it more, whatever. I mean, it's only been, like, 5 years. So if you think, like, in the next 5 years, that's 10. Even then, that's not a lot. So, like, because after you start it, it's like maybe 5 to 15, 20 years where people are doing it and not noticing it, and then everybody notices it. So maybe it'll happen a little sooner because technology has advanced a little more. But, like, then you're talking about another 50 to 60 years. Like, you know, you go back and look at art renaissances, like, they're, like, you know, 60 to 80 years old, you know, long. Like, we're just literally at the beginning of all of this. Like, that's, I don't know about anybody else, but I think that's fucking crazy.
That's amazing. Your vision for the next 10 years. I mean, I think you have one famous line on Twitter.
Yeah.
This is how we build. How do we build then? What is it that, understanding the context in which this art renaissance is developing, understanding not just the fact that obviously there's a lot of financial incentives, but that the more traditional art world is still apprehensive about not just the art, but the artist, the approach, the medium, the way of transacting. how do we build, if you were to sketch out the next 5, 10 years, and I know you're doing this a lot yourself behind the scenes, but I guess this is a platform for just spreading that idea that you have, because I think it's really good.
All right. First of all, for all my haters out there, I'm looking at that camera now, DJ. Do you switch it or you do it after? There you go. That's Sergito. Everybody who hates the line, this is how we build. I want to be very clear to all of you. I'm not putting it on T-shirts. It's just something I say. I didn't think of it really like in a marketing campaign that some people think I've done, or I'm trying to like do a thing. I literally was taking a dump and wrote a tweet one day, and I was like, oh, this is how we build. And it just stuck. So for all my haters out there, don't hate the line. It's just the line. That's it. All right, we go back to, I spoke to all my haters. Now, what the line means was really, it's just like, this is like really like, I think we need to have a focus on building more than anything. So like, you know, I guess like I could be a little vocal on Twitter sometimes, and I stir some things and maybe get a little people upset. And even people who I'm very close with and friends with sometimes, like I'll challenge them on Twitter. But like, I think like, to me, like that's all part of this process of building, right? You know, most of these even people who I challenge sometimes are builders. So like, I think there's a huge difference between an injector and an extractor in our space. And I think that I've been in crypto for a while, and I've seen that there's extractors and there's injectors. For the most part, it's almost all extractors, right? And every once in a while, you have some good people who stay along and build things. But like, I mean, if you really look at crypto, like we really haven't created anything so innovative yet, right? It's like we know we have something innovative, and yet we have so much more to do with it. Like we've only like scratched the surface. It's like, you know, like a dog catches a squirrel finally, and it's like, well, the fuck do I do with the squirrel now? Like you just caught it. So I feel like we caught like this technology. Like we know it's amazing. We know we could build with it. And I'm not saying people aren't innovating, but I think it is taking time, right? So I think art has been one of those better things that we built on it. Collectibles and things like that. I think we're getting there. So like for me, building is so important. That's injectors, right? We can't, of course we want to monetize things to make money. Everybody should make money. I'm not telling people not to make money, but we have to have an understanding that if it's just extraction of finances, we're building no foundation to this. And then we're only going to burn it out. Now, I think it'll on its own be successful, but like we're just going to probably push it off years of success and of being successful. So like building to me is really the most important thing. And I think like there's incredible builders. What you're doing with Meebits, like that's building, right? You're taking a chance, you know, with Nick and that group, right? Big chance, putting money into something, building on something. Kudos to both of you guys. Like, this is taking that risk to build something out. Now, will it be a success? I think so with Meebits. Will everything be a success? No. And that's okay, but at least we're putting back into this system, you know? And I can't, it frustrates me to no end, probably when I get a little crazy, of when I see people who are just trying to only take out. So like, this is how we build is like, it was just like sort of my mantra of like, build right. That's all I'm really saying. Like, just be building, right? I'm not saying don't make money. I'm not saying don't take profit. Just be building in some way, because that's the only way that we'll be successful. So yeah, I mean like, yeah, that's the whole line. I think sometimes people think like, I got a lot of mean people sometimes who are like, oh, this is how we build, and make fun of me, which is fine. It's all good. I don't care.
I thought you were really funny on NFC Lisbon in your Tonight show when you made fun of the people making fun of you.
Yeah,
that was so funny. And I think, again, and for those of you that were not there or didn't watch it online, Benny, again, very selfless individual. No secret, right? It's really hard to do NFT events these days. There's not a lot of sponsors. funds are running out, projects don't have the same amount of resources.
Poor.
And we love NFC Lisbon. We
Yeah.
love the team. We love the
John
fact that
Karp
yep,
is amazing human being.
every single year they put their industry on their back and they aim to try.
And
And so-
Greta, shout out to
yes. And Benny decided to host a 4-hour-long
Greta. Yeah.
variety show.
I
at
mean,
night.
I want to say I didn't choose to. I was probably pushed to do it. That's fine. John, and Greta did. And then the amazing team from 100 Collectors, who are great people, helped me put it together. Yeah, that was but just to be fair, I do make fun of myself plenty. So
I think to be successful in crypto, you almost have to have that.
I'm a hard. I think for all my haters out there, I'm probably harder on myself than they are. I remember this one guy. He was just like, dude, he wouldn't stop. He was just nonstop. And then one day, he had it was an artist, and he had a drop that you get whitelisted, allow listed for. And I was like, I DM'd him. I was like, hey, here's my piece. He's like, wait, you own my art? I was like, yeah, I've owned it for 3 years. And he's like, oh. I'm you. But I was like, you still can hate me. He's like, I'm like, if you don't like me, it's fine. I don't care. So it's fine. I guess I know people aren't going to take me seriously all the time. Look, I'm okay with that. I've accepted my role, and I know I'm a little strange and chaotic, but I know who I am. I am fiercely loyal.
And I can attest to that.
Yeah.
And I think the people that you have helped along the way will put their hands in the fire for you, no questions asked.
Yeah.
And so, while we won't go into specifics
No, it's okay.
here,
Yeah.
I do want to ask you maybe a little bit of a challenging question.
Sure.
Because I think, and I see it not just with yourself, but other patrons and collectors who, at the end of the day, you have limited resources,
Yes.
whether that's money, time,
Yeah.
energy. I mean, you also
Yeah.
have to lead your life, deal with your mother-in-law, which seems
my
to be a
God.
handful.
Can't believe she's still alive.
But how do you pick the people that you work with?
I think in 2020, I was on a call with an artist for an hour, and I got off the phone to my wife, who's really the rock of all this for me. She has a master's in art history, so she's really taught me everything about art. This is actually, we're gonna be able to add pictures here. So this is actually the first art piece I bought with my wife. You just pretend you see it.
I'm looking at it.
Okay. She finished her master's, and this guy Hans Bellmer was the artist that she wrote her thesis paper on. And I had made some money, and I bought her a lithograph 1-of-1 signed by him, and she got it, and you could see she's crying, and it was this really emotional thing. And I was like, man, she really likes art. I should and I had at that point been married to her almost 15 years. No, a little less. And I was like, wait, I need to connect to her more. So I wanted to see what that was all about, why she was so emotional. And I kind of fell in love with art. And then in 2020, we started collecting together in 2019 around. And then 2020, I was on the phone with an artist for an hour, like I was saying, for the 4th time. And my wife was like, who on the phone with? I said, oh, an artist. And she's like, are you buying the art? I said, I don't even know. And my wife made a comment to me. She's like, because she's so much smarter than me. She said, you know how lucky you are that you get to talk to an artist, right? Usually the artists were dead, or you weren't rich enough to talk to them, or they were too popular. There wasn't that many, so you have access. Having that access is pretty incredible. So I really realized that it kind of clicked in my brain. I sold most of my NFTs, PFP stuff I was collecting at the time. I've always collected with Zanzibar. He's my best friend, business partner at the time.
We love him. We featured him in the Meebits.
He's amazing.
Voxel Journal Community Spotlight a few weeks ago.
And he puts up with my chaos for many years. And Will Savis, who the 3 of us started collecting together, and we started selling a lot of stuff off and buying some art. And then over time, I just really went at it, and I kind of realized that I got to stop collecting art, and I realized I have to start collecting people, which sounds weird, but let me explain. I wanted to collect artists. And I felt that the relationship part was more important than the actual art itself. And so I went out and became very close friends with a lot of artists because I wanted to get to know them. And I wasn't looking to be like a manager or like a broker or whatever. I just really wanted to like, I started to feel like the shift in momentum. And, I did that for like, since 2020. And I became really close. And so like, the answer is like, I don't really choose who to work with. I think it just happens based off of like, maybe who first of all could put up with my nonsense. And second of all, who like, again, I think like I just really believe in, right? Like, I mean, look, obviously the best one would be like Sam. Like, it's pretty obvious.
I think I've heard about him.
Yeah. Sam.
He does monkey art too.
He does a little monkey art also, yeah. But Sam, I met him at a party, and, an old friend had introduced me to him, and we kind of hit it off. And I don't know, like 2 months after we met, he invited me to a wedding of like 25 people, which my wife almost passed out on and embarrassed me. It was a horrible situation. She made it. But like we just became really close, and then I bought a skull. I was like the first one to buy a skull on secondary. And, that was that faith we had in him. And like, I think like I didn't work with him right away when he say like, see, that's the thing. Like, I don't think I work with people. I think I want to I just want to be around them when they're doing incredible things. I mean, like, I have 3 incredible children. Like, I want one day, 10, 20 years from now, my kids are talking to their friends and they're just like talking about, hanging out with Sam Spratt or Joe Pease, or my kids talk, nonstop about, when they put the pie in Snowfro's face when you were on stage. I mean, like, to them, they'll never forget that moment ever, But then one day they'll be like, holy shit, you put a pie in Eric Cauldron's face. Like, he's going to be in my opinion, one of the most important creators in digital art in the world ever. And my kid put pies in his face, right? So, like, I think there's something obviously weird and chaotic and strange about that, but I also feel like that's kind of beautiful, And I don't really choose them. I just think it just happens, and I want to help, or I can, because that's crazy.
I think that's a beautiful answer. Well, first of all, Eric, if you're watching this, I really enjoyed putting a pie on your face too.
Oh, that's right.
So thank you.
You know
Benny,
who
for
really
the
did? I don't know did you watch all of them or?
I was right. I was the last one.
Oh, right, because there were some people really wanted to put that pie.
Oh, there was people who were like, oh yeah.
Jeff really.
Yeah.
Jeff wound up.
He did.
There's a slow-mo that I think Seth put out there.
Yep.
It was a beautiful video. So
Yeah,
I'm really sorry to.
This is a plug for NFC Lisbon. Great event.
Yeah, great event.
Cool. But no, you mentioned you wanted to be around those people.
Yeah.
And let's maybe use that to transition a little bit to what happened at Toledo.
Yeah.
Which was, in my opinion, personally for me, the best weekend I've had in Web3.
Wow.
And probably one of the most fun weekends of my life.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, it wasn't just because seeing, a major international museum, world-class museum, putting together an incredible exhibit of the stuff that we like.
Yeah.
Honoring artists that we're friends with.
Yeah.
Which, to your point, is incredible. It's kind of like what drew me into Nifty Gateway too, being able to connect with them being there. Like, the curator is speaking about Snowfro, and he's right there. He's speaking about Death Beef, and he's like right there. And it's like we're chatting about it. We're all friends. But it was also just being able to feel part of that community.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's incredible people that opt into these types of communities, because you have to be quite good. It's because it's almost like a vocation.
Yeah.
Rather, like, it's not easy. Maybe it was easy in 21. You bought anything and you 10x.
It was like a dartboard. It was like, oh, I went up, I made money, I'll fly first class somewhere. Yeah.
But now it's not really that.
No.
The rubber has hit the road, as the Americans say.
Yeah. Is that what we say?
I don't know. I think I learned that in high
I
school.
say French fries.
What's that?
Do you say French fries, French fries?
Yeah. But you say freedom fries?
No.
What do you say, fries?
I just don't know how they say it in South America and Mexico. It's French fries.
Mexico's North America.
Oh, right. Okay.
Mr.
I'm an educator. I
I
have
know.
a PhD in education. No, I'm just kidding.
Not geography, apparently.
Not geography.
No, but anyways, Toledo.
Yeah.
Incredible work. Adam, the team.
Yeah.
You mentioned everybody that's involved. There's a lot more people that were involved. For me, for example, right, I was sitting on a curb outside the museum
Yeah.
during the block party,
Yeah.
waiting for the drone show,
Yeah.
next to Matt Hall
Yeah.
and Tyler Hobbs. I found out Tyler and I actually overlapped in college for a year
Wow.
at UT San Antonio.
That's great.
And we were laughing so hard because
Yeah.
we obviously never interacted then. And then with Matt, we were just chatting about Meebits and all this stuff. And then again with the different artists that were there, just conversing one-on-one. It's like we're friends. We're, to your point, it's like these people are going to transcend
Yeah.
art history and you get a chance to be around them. What would you say to somebody that's like wants to get into like digital art, like maybe transition a little bit from like the PFP character IP side, like the Degen stuff, into really maybe trying to find their home within digital art? Because I think a lot of the misunderstanding sometimes is, oh, that stuff is just really expensive. Indents are expensive.
You could
Squiggles are.
No, of course. Look, you could buy Nakamigos now that we know Beeple and Matt and John created
That's a great
them.
entry point. Yeah, right.
Or you could buy a dick butt because one dick equals one butt, and we're all in favor of that.
That
And
is the most
it's
perfect
actually-
math in the universe.
Actually, so I'll get to your answer, but just quickly, Mike, people and I used to talk about this for a while, that it was like our goal in life to have a dick butt in a museum, and we just did it this weekend because he's every day.
That's right. That's right.
Dick butts in our museum now. Can't deny it.
I
So,
I
yeah.
love dick butts. There's
Yeah,
nothing like a good dick.
There's nothing like a good dick in a butt. So
Yeah.
it is the only word though that my wife is mad at me that I taught my children.
Dick butt.
Yeah, but I mean, they have to grow up at some point. Just saying.
For me,
Yeah.
it's the dick butts. Real, like, just quick tangent.
Yeah.
But Raul invited me down to
Yeah.
one of his roundtables with his global macro investors crew back
In Gooch Island.
Close Caymans.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I just call it Gooch Island.
Gooch
for him
Island.
at
Yeah,
this
yeah.
point. Yeah.
So long story short, right? It's all these like professional money managers. He
Yeah.
had brought me down to talk about NFTs because I was
Yeah.
one of the first people who like really pitched them on NFTs after he got me into crypto, and I mentioned dick butts.
Yeah.
And both him and his partner Julian were like appalled.
I love Julian. Yeah.
Um,
Oh, really? They were appalled.
yeah. Fast
Wow.
forward a year later, Julian
is-
I wrote the
this
first
is
ever
spicy.
global macro investors report on NFTs.
Yeah.
The next year, Julian wrote it because he had really jumped into the space, and he used
He has a
his
nice
dick butt as a
collection.
PFP, and now he's got an insane collection of dick butts.
I
Obviously,
mean,
Raul
Raul is like all in on dick butts.
He is.
Like him, Lindsay Blondie, his girlfriend, I guess we're allowed to say that publicly. I mean, everybody knows. But the two of them, and I'm a huge fan and very close friend of Lindsay. I talked to them. They love dick butts. I mean, Raul is like all about dick butts now.
It's amazing.
People change. This is what Web3 does to you, by the way. It changes you. I mean, think about it. Raul, actually, now that I think about it, Raul built this incredible business with Julian. He started collecting dick butts. Blondie started dating him. He was already collecting X copy, but he's already a big X copy collector. I think we've cultured Raul.
He bought a robot Meebit recently.
He bought a robot Meebit.
Yes, he did.
He even went, I don't know if I could say this on air, but he ate at the Olive Garden. Don't tell anybody.
I know. And it was
Yeah.
great because it came out of a dick butt
Yeah.
group chat that we're all in.
Oh, that's right.
That's what I'm
but
very,
yeah.
very proud of seeing Raul Pal's culturalization and growth, like personal growth.
I think
since
there's
he
nothing-
bought a dick butt. He bought a dick butt. Now
Yeah.
he enjoys the endless breadsticks and
he
the endless
exactly.
salads.
This is how it connects.
This is how we build.
This is how we build. See? By the way, it's the same thing. It's like Bob Lucas. I love when he buys art. He's just always like, because he's a very tall man. I don't know if you ever met him before. So I always have to look up. And I remember when we talked about him buying a skull, he at one point looked at me, he's like, "What are you doing here?" I was like, "I'm just getting you to buy art." But now he buys art And I love when he buys art because you could tell he's only buying things he likes. And I think there's something awesome watching the evolution of all of us, not just them. People who are just like, that's the thing that makes it so fucking amazing. Like, here's the thing. You want to know the truth? The truth is that if it wasn't for Web3, blockchain, NFTs, digital art, like this, not digital art, but art on chain, none of us would probably be collectors of art.
I would be.
And most of us wouldn't. And most of the artists wouldn't even be artists.
Right.
Because they would never have the opportunity. We literally have created a whole new ecosystem of art collectors and artists that nobody in the world even really knows about. Like, we're just barely scratching the surface. The Toledo thing was the first. Like, there's been other institutions, Buffalo AKG to give a shout out to, and Heck and others, and but this is just scratching the surface. Like, I don't think the world truly understands how great this is going to be. And I think so. Toledo, go back to your question, it's like, how do people get involved? It's like, showing up to things like Toledo and seeing what's there. I don't know if it's necessarily having to buy the art sometimes, but just being around the community. Maya Man and Lou Shannon, two of my favorite young artists in the space, they're just both brilliant, right? Like, really incredible humans. They make great art. But they started doing a lot of these like parties that nobody even knew about, like in the city. And they would have packed rooms of these young artists. And their whole thing was about digital. They would get Corey Archangel to come and all these other great digital artists to talk to these young other artists who either were in it or not. And I don't think we even understand the breadth of this, to the credit of Ian, Rogers. He said this to me first before anybody, and I know a bunch of other people have said this as well, but Ian said it to me first a long time ago that this reminds him of the underground music, in New York, right? Like when it was punk rock when it was first starting, and I think there's a lot of connections to that. I think he's spot on, and I think that the more we recognize that, the more lucky we realize how early we are. So, like, to get people more in, like, look, I mean, also, like, just was why I'm talking about it. Can you put the camera back on me, DJ? That's Sergito. That's me. I need everybody to understand this. All artists and collectors, this will not be easy. Don't expect to make a lot of money. Don't expect to be famous. Understand that this won't be easy, but it'll be worth it. Okay, you go back to the main thing now. Thank you. But that's the truth. Like, the truth is that, like, it's an emerging industry. It's never going to be easy to be on the top. And it's always going to be hard growing. But man, like, you're never going to have an opportunity like this. So, like, look, for the artists that left, I'm not, like, the kind of person, like, I'm going to publicly shame them. Yeah. Well, maybe sometimes I will. But I'm not going to support them personally because they weren't there every day in, day out. And there's a lot of people that have, even people who I don't totally agree with sometimes or don't love their art. Like, they just didn't quit. And there's something really amazing about that. And that's going to take some time also. People should be ready. Like, I know, like, I do think we're in a bull cycle, and we don't have to talk about all that now or get to a bull cycle. But, like, that, we're going to have another cycle. Things are going to go up, things are going to go down, right? So, and I know you're going to ask me this question anyways, so, like, you could ask it because, like, now we're talking about it. Like, you asked the cabal question. I know it's on everybody's mind, so.
So, officially, is there a cabal?
There is a cabal, and you're not invited. No. Okay.
Oh, the Clippers are going to have fun with that one.
All right. See, here's the thing about cabals. The truth is that the answer really is that there is no cabal and there is cabals, right? So I find it funny because, like, look, I've done it with some friends and chopping my finger off with the skulls and stuff and other things. So yeah, like, look, I get where sometimes some artists come in and they're a little angry about it. And I think that they have to realize that the truth really is that while we can make the argument, I was here at the beginning, that certain people pumped certain artists, they went up. Like, that's all true. There's no denying that. If people want to deny that, then they're just lying. Like, that was all true. We had that in 2019, 2021. And some of them still have value, some of them don't. I don't think it took away from the merit of some of those artists, because I think they deserved it anyways. Do I think the prices got crazy high? Yes. Do I think that we have to be careful not getting high? We could talk about that after, yes. But to get to the idea of a cabal, is that yes, well, you have that, but like a real cabal that people really believe that exists, like I see the craziest things online. It's just not true. I mean, there's no cabal. Like if there was a cabal, I would be in it, and I don't even know what. I'm not invited to it, so.
That's what somebody that's in the cabal would say.
I understand that, and I may have something around my waist that electrocutes me every time I lie about the cabal.
You might like it though. There's people that like that.
Listen, I never tried it, but no, but like there is cabals. So the answer is that there's not one large cabal. No one is sitting there behind a desk stroking a cat, going like, okay, today we're going to make X Pac go up 10%. It's so ridiculous. I mean, it's the most ridiculous things I've ever seen. It is hard. I think people don't realize this. It's actually really hard work to make the moves, even for the larger sales.
Yep.
It is not easy. It is blood, sweat, and tears, man. Like I fucking stay up. I sleep 3 hours a night mostly. I mean, like, and to be fair, that's not like people always say to me like, oh, all you do is move big pieces. Well, go ask other artists, because that's not true. Because like I firmly believe that the largest sales trickle down to the emerging artists as well, and I work a lot with those artists. So the truth is that there is no real cabal, but the cabals that do exist, that I push people to do, and what I say this, is that everybody should have a cabal. Every artist should have their own cabal.
Yep.
What's wrong with having a cabal? It's a group of like-minded people who believe in something and want to do it together, right? I'll give you a perfect example. ACK builds a piano. He goes to Carnegie Hall. I don't care if you like his art or if you don't like his art. I don't care if you like the piano or don't like the piano. It doesn't matter as long as the 200 people that traveled around the world did and make him a good artist for them. And that's his cabal. And I think we need to not shy away from that. I think more artists should do that. And ACK to me is a good artist, and I love him, and he's a good friend. And I think the piano is great, personally. But like for someone to look in and go like, this is ridiculous. Okay, it's ridiculous. You might not like it, but he's still over 200 people traveled the whole entire world to come to New York to watch somebody play the art that he made. That's a success. That's not a bad thing. That's a cabal that he created. So like, I think cabal is the wrong word. I think what we're really doing is creating micro communities. And to me, we've had years when after 2000 and the internet exploded, the idea was driven in our heads that the way to make money is by having large corporations and everybody pays $1. 1 billion people pay $1. That's good for 6 people to make money. That's not good for the masses to make money. So what's happening now is we're finally creating a creator economy where micro communities and micro economies can be, or micro religions, if you want to call them, can be created so individuals can make more money and they can be successful. They can do things. They don't have to be starving artists. And that starts with creating your own cabal.
Cabal.
You know?
I always saw cabals because, again, being here for a little over 4.5, I think being in New York gives you a great advantage.
Yeah.
Because you end up hanging out with
100% where you are makes a difference.
I always remember hearing about the cabals. And I was like, no, that's just like groups of friends.
That's it.
Who like the same thing.
I mean, literally, it's all it is. We hang out. I joke around about it all the time because people think like, I've had people say the strangest things to me about it. Like I once I never did an NFT drop, but once I did this thing where I gave out like a free token. Yeah. And then you could give the token to get this NFT. And all it was like, it was an invitation to a chat room that was a cabal. I had like hundreds of people do this. And then all it was like airdropped them like a Rickroll of me as a Pepe. And then I left the chat. Everyone's like, where's the cabal? I was like, dude, there is no cabal. That's the whole point. It's a joke. So like, I think like, look, I get it. I think I feel like what people need to understand is that everybody's working hard. So like, don't knock those that made it from artists and from creators on top. Just saying, hey, you're a cabal. That's just not fair to them.
Yep.
And like, I think like, because like they've worked just as hard in some ways as you can. Now, I'm not saying that I want everybody to have that chance. Trust me. Like, I really truly believe in this idea of emerging artists, and many artists will tell you that I believe in that. Most of my day is talking to artists. I try to make as much time as I can.
I mean, I can attest to that.
Yeah, and
personally.
I feel bad because sometimes I can't get to people, and I miss a million meetings, and I'm trying to do my best with it, and I'm running a school and doing this and blah blah blah, but I can't do it all. But I could tell you, like, you know, the group of collectors or patrons that I know of care very much about the longevity of this, from the highest selling artists to the emerging artists. And you know, you could say like, oh, he's going to say that, but this isn't like Nakamigos. Like, Nakamigos was really created from people and Matt and John. That's something that we can make sure. That's a fact. Cabals don't exist.
Another question that doesn't really get spoken about much, or not that I've seen, because it is maybe sometimes an uncomfortable topic.
Yeah.
Although I am, especially after this weekend in Toledo, and other exhibits and activations that I've seen, women in the space, not just artists, and there's obviously a lot of them really successful, good, and known, but there's a lot of women behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Of pushing the art space forward.
Yeah.
At institutions, at galleries, representing artists, and the infrastructure layer. Why do you think that we know about the big male collectors, artists, and not the women? When you and I could probably name 15 women that have had a much bigger impact.
I'm going to say something really controversial right now. I think Mickey is an incredible human being. His wife, Becky, is one of the best people I ever met in my life. Like, I'm not kidding. And I think that's true, like, Sam. Sam's an incredible artist. Rachel is one of the best, most impactful people I've met. My wife, right? Like, I can't do anything without her.
What about women that are not partners to...
Right. So, I'll give you my wife, for example. These people who are partners are everything. And when I bring my wife, my wife as a partner, to events and stuff, the people she always connects with are the people that I have spoken about so highly. And they always end up being females in our space. Almost always, not always. And they're these incredible women that I become very friendly with, who, I'm not going to lie, have taught me so much. Like, when I have questions, I'm always asking them, because I think that they not only give best advice, but they truly care and know things about the space. Abigail, Martina, Amanda, Nicole, Stone, right? Like,
just had her in the podcast last episode.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Like, these are huge. I'm telling you, like, there are these best people just sitting around. Lindsay, Blondie, Parachica is this incredible collector. WAP is, Angie is an incredible collector, like, has helped so many artists.
Beauty and the Punk.
Beauty and the Punk. Like, I mean, she's an OG that has done so much for this space, right? And you talk to her and, like, the level of love she has for this stuff. And then just from the, institutions like Regina, Tina Ryans, Julie, who just did this. Like, there's Ann Spalter, who's like the OG of a lot of this stuff. Like, Madeline. I mean, I could just keep going. Like, I feel like I'm missing people. But, like, my point is, like, there's incredible females in this space that are strong that we don't give a voice to. Why? Look, probably because it was a male-oriented thing that was financially driven, and just men made money added earlier, I guess, but like if I'm gonna read something on an artist, I'm going to Susan NFTs. Like she fucking writes the best fucking shit on artists all the time.
Yeah.
I love her threads, right? She doesn't get enough credit for this stuff, Like Stone, what she's done for like punks in this community and the things she does behind the scenes and for other artists. So I think I just think I do try my best. I think you see, and like I'm very vocal about that, of really pushing that. And to be fair, it could be because I have daughters. So like I feel I need I have to do it. And this isn't like I talked to Ayla about this and a few others, and like it's not, Ayla made a comment to me, Ayla Musa. She said, that it's not about being, it's a quote from a famous artist escaping right now, sorry. Georgia O'Keeffe, like, don't judge me on being a female artist, judge me on being an artist. And I think we need to do that more with the females in our space.
Yeah.
Don't judge them on being female. They're just incredible humans in our space who are building things that we don't fucking pay attention to. Like my first digital art piece I bought was from Sophia, Sophia Garcia.
Who's also an incredible person behind the scenes, helping artists,
She
advising.
was so early.
Yeah.
Nobody even realizes how early she was and how much she injected into our community. So which brings me kind of like this whole idea of why sometimes I push back on things and I'm a little more vocal, and it gets me in trouble sometimes, is because I truly, I'm not an art historian and I don't really read much, but when I do, when I try to read about art history, it's clear that it's like, you have an art renaissance and there's 20 voices, right? And that's it. And that's what we all pay attention. It's that's basically history in a nutshell, right? This is the first time to me where everything's on chain. We need thousands of voices. There shouldn't be one. There's no one, patron saint of art in digital art, in my opinion. There should be many patron saints of digital art. And there's no difference. I try to say this all the time. There's no difference in what I do and what others are doing in this space, and it happens to be that there's a lot of females doing that, and I feel really strongly, I became really close with Martina, who's, I officiated her wedding, and there's so many times I have questions for her or Amanda, Mimi, all these just great
I
people.
honestly wish more people knew them.
I also do. I mean, I guess that's part, honestly, man, part of the problem is Twitter.
Yeah.
I love Twitter, but it's also our worst enemy.
I know, but it is the digital art storefront today.
It is, and it works.
Yeah.
And everybody can hate on it, but you know what, man? It's doing a good job. So it's tough to have a voice on there. I get it, but so it's it's a positive and negative. I wish I want there to be a way for them to get their voices to be shared more, or people knew who they were. It's hard.
Every single time that I've met some of these amazing women that work in the space.
Yeah.
Again, not just artists, but really the people that
Yeah.
are doing the hard work.
Yeah.
And almost never getting the credit. They teach me something new. I actually learn something about art.
That's it.
Which for me, I love you.
Yeah.
I love Raul. I love Bats. I love all my guy friends.
Yeah.
Arsonic. I mean, I got more feed pics from Arsonic than anything art related.
He does love sending up feed
does,
pics.
yeah.
I love Arsonic.
OG, all these guys are awesome and they're friends, but they've never really taught me about art. I was having a conversation with India in Toledo, and I learned so much about art from an hour chat. And it's damn, man, we need more of this, because I think it would help push the space forward a little bit beyond that speculative nature of it.
Yeah,
and more into I understand why this is good. I remember when AC, one of also a very good collector, part of 6529's fund, he was telling me about Fidenzas, and he was like, man, the reason why I understood Fidenzas was because Sophia helped me understand it, and I was ready for it. I was like, man, I need a Sophia.
I think we need to do that more. I think we're going to need to do it more for the next crop of collectors coming in. We're gonna need like the Sofia Garcias. We're gonna need the Lindsays to like be the hard Texan of like, no, you got to look at this, and we're gonna need the the Abigails to help curate, and we're gonna need like we're gonna need all of these individuals to have louder voices. I think that in general we're gonna need that, because to push this next step forward, in my opinion, we need more collectors. I mean, there's just no collectors right now. I mean, I don't think this is a controversial thing to say.
I think it's a fact.
It's there's very few. So we could create this, idea. And this is, again, why people probably say it's a cabal, because they think it's a cabal because there's only 150 people buying stuff.
Right.
Right? If there was 10,000 people stuff, it wouldn't feel like there's a cabal. So I think like there's going to be more. I'm not concerned about that. And I think there's tools like Rasta, which just came out, which is excellent. That'll, or Gandhi lending, give people the entice them to come in and stuff like that. But, I think we need to have just stronger voices come out. And again, maybe that's why a lot of times I like feel about myself. I'm just like, nah, I'm not that important. Because a lot of times I'm getting a lot of great information from other people. Now, I do try my best to lift those people, and I want their voices to be heard. And I'll keep doing that. But yeah, I agree. It's like, it's definitely a thing. I mean, we could talk about really controversial things, but nobody ever wants to talk about those things. Like why female punks are always the bottom. But let's not talk about that right now.
No, I kind of want to like bring it back home to the community, the experience. I was talking to Snowfro, also in Toledo.
Yeah.
I forget who put one of his kids on his shoulders. I was playing and running around.
Yeah.
And then, there's a couple of people who had their partners there, and they're like expecting babies. You have new babies in the community.
Babies are really good luck for bull markets. I'm being dead serious. Like, I ran out of children to have, but every time I had a child, there was a bull market. I asked my wife to have a baby. Now she said, absolutely not. No. I'm gonna fucking kill you if you bring that up again. But other one of my friends now who are artists and creators in the space are pregnant. So I'm feeling really good about that, just for the record. I love that. Yeah. My perspective on that was like, hey, we know this space is going to grow. Yeah. Because it's amazing and the art's good and it's fun. But for me, almost like if it never grows. Yeah. And it's just the 1,000 of us. Yeah. Growing all together. Yeah. Watching kids grow up. Watching, new love stories, heartbreak, graduations. I mean, we have people like Ben Scar. The kid's gonna graduate college in a couple of years. I'm sure half his graduation party is gonna be from Web3, patrons and I was there the first night he went to college here, and he came out drinking with us. I was like, this is not a good idea. and I think like 2 people had to carry him home for orientation the next day, which his parents were waiting for him. And now he's graduating college, and I'm like, all right,
But isn't that amazing that in a world that's grown so detached, where that social layer is completely it's disappearing.
Yeah, I mean, Dave Krugman,
we get to grow together. Yeah. And that for me is just the biggest win.
Yeah, Dave Krugman talks about this all the time. I mean, I can't even say it as poetic as he does. I don't even know how he says those things.
I think he really practices at home. He probably just sits in front of the mirror.
So I actually think he caught a genie. Okay. And he made one wish, which was like, make my tongue magical. And
that can go in so many ways.
Yeah, well, let's leave it at that. Public speaking.
There we go.
Of course. But I'm just saying, I can't say as poetic as him, but Dave talks about this all the time, and he's so spot on. I mean, it's like, I really do feel like we're creating families. My kids are growing up on this. Yeah. It's so beautiful. Like, I have a kitchen table. You haven't come over my house once. Every time people come over my table, they draw on it with like an artist or creator. And I have this table of just like my kids' drawings with like all these artists. Yeah. Like, it's awesome, And, my son's name is Arlo. And the reason why we named him Arlo is because I love Arlo Guthrie. And there's a famous story he told where he said he was, I don't remember how old he said he was, and maybe 15, 16 or something, maybe a little older. And he realized, he's like, wait a minute. I used to come home to my dad's house, like I was a young kid, and he'd be in the kitchen smoking cigarettes with like Bob Dylan and all the most famous artists. His dad was Woody Guthrie, and like how he never even realized, like he was living literally in the most insane moment of music, growing up at the table, watching these people just drink coffee and smoke cigarettes. And he just sat there. And one of the reasons why we named him Arlo is because that story. Because like I was like, this is how I feel, you know? And I think we're going to be able to build it out more. So like I do think that our family is going to grow. I do. I think our kids are, like, I think we need to stop building for us and we need to start building for them. And this is not like before anybody gets on my back of like, oh, you're a pro-family person. Like, please. I love family. I love children. I think everybody should have them. If you don't want to have them, I'm totally okay with that. For me, it's more than that, because even if you don't have children, then you could still grow in your family, right? So like, but there is something about us building for the next generation, even if you don't want kids or not. Like if we're just building to like, if we're just building for us, then why don't we just blow up the world? What's the point, right? The whole point is for us to continue this legacy of humanity, right? So then build for them, not for us. We're wasting our time. Like that's sort of what 2020 felt like. Now it feels like, no, I think it's getting better. I think we're starting to build more for the future. I kind of love that. I mean, you know, I don't know how long, you know, like sometimes you think about your mortality of like how long you have here. You know, my dad's getting older and I think about that all the time. He's like dementia. I'm like, ugh, this is like the worst, you know? I have to go through that. I'm still like struggling with like trying to understand that and be with him and whatnot. But the reason why I'm probably having the hardest time about it is because I'm like, you know, my dad's at the end of his life, right? I'm like in the middle of my life. My kids are at the beginning of their lives. You know, it's like that foundation series of like, you know, day is dawn, day, night, right? I think that's the three of them. And there's something really true to that. Like we gotta, like, we just have such short periods of time here. So like, if I'm just doing it for myself, it just feels a little selfish. It's like you're not giving back to humanity for any reason. So like, I do think we need to start building more towards that. So I don't know.
Man, that was beautiful.
Okay. I hope so. If not, DJ could edit it. He's a good. Yeah.
No, I mean, I kind of almost want to just end it there because it's such a high note, and I think it accomplishes what I personally, very selfishly, had in mind for this episode. And it's really maybe the first time we step away from focusing on Meebits. And I don't think we're going to do every episode on Meebits because there's a lot of things to talk about, but I also want to bring the Meebits community into my personal network and for them to see kind of like, or hear the conversations that I'm very blessed and lucky to have with folks like yourself. We're pushing the space forward. We're doing it with that right mentality, right? You're building it for your kids and for Eric's kids and for everybody for the future. Yeah. And to your point, right, it's not like there's a cabal. It's just that we're just also just having fun and enjoying.
You know, I sent Eric this video of like two of his youngest and my middle dancing together. And like, I know it sounds weird, but it's like, you know, there's two little Meebits dancing together. You know, that's the way I see it. It's like kind of like, you know, I think when you collect a Meebit or you collect a punk or you collect a mask or you collect, you know, a dick butt or you collect a grifter, right? All these types of PFPs are supposed to be things that represent us, right? And that's our footprint of us literally saying we exist. Like, I mean, I don't think people fully understand that yet. Like, we are going to have a glut of technology and AI in this world, and humanity is going to be the thing that we need to prove. It's, you know, of its own existence, that it still is human. And I think art and what we're building are the beginning of telling those stories. So, like, to me, all these projects like Meebits shouldn't just be about, like, yeah, I get it financially as a thing, but see them as conduits of, like, almost telling the world that you exist. I am here. Like, this represents me, and you can't take that away from me. And that's, I think, a message that is going to be so important in the future for the next generations. They're going to look back at us and be like, man, I'm glad those trailblazers did that. I'm glad that they set that mark because now I could do that myself. That's how I really feel.
You're going to be way more inspired than I even thought I could about what we're building with Meebits. Benny, thank you so much.
No, thank you.
I know it's you don't like the spotlight, so I appreciate you
so much.
not just coming on, but really opening up
Thank you.
and sharing so many cool things with us.
Yeah.
This is awesome. I'm gonna ask you to come back at some point.
Let me come back with like somebody else because then it'll be more.
You and Eric,
comfortable.
I think.
That would be great, and I'll keep it clean.
We try to
Promise,
keep
Eric.
it clean.
Yeah.
But no, thanks folks for watching. This was episode 13 of the Meebits podcast with Benny Redbeard. Thanks everybody.